Christian, you should have a forgiving. No, I say, I forgave you long ago. I'm just dealing with the devil in you. Because I don't want that devil to go to the offices and repeat the same mistake. So sometimes people want to take advantage of you as a Christian leader in the university because they know you're born again. They want you to compromise to their standards. So we need to stand and be different, because integrity, like we said, it's an inside job. I could have said, well, let them pay the money. It goes back to the government coffers and they go back to do work. But remember, they will go back and repeat. Chances are very high that they will go back and repeat, because none of them has confessed. None of them has come clear to me and say they have accepted Christ, and that character has to be tested over time. So it is a very challenging thing. Integrity is not determined by circumstances. It is not determined. It's a given. The older we are, the greater the choices we make, either good or bad. The decisions you make as a leader has far-reaching effects on the people you are leading. I'll give you an example of a certain lousy man who made a bad decision. God gave him his instructions to go to Nineveh, to preach and tell the people to repent. The man made a bad decision and decided to go to Tarshish. And that was Jonah. You remember Jonah and having to be swallowed by the fish in order to come out and go to Nineveh. The decision he took had far-reaching implications even on other people. Remember the sailors on board, when the storm came, they had to throw their cargo in the water. The message delayed to reach Nineveh, and Nineveh had over 120,000 people who were waiting for that word. They said Nineveh at that time was living in sin, but the lousy man did not want the people to be forgiven by God. He forgot that God had even saved him from death by providing this fish to swallow him, so that this message can actually reach the people. God had the option of using angels or other better people, but he chose to use this man Jonah. So how much more can God use you as a Christian leader who has positioned himself or herself in the university, in the different spaces you find yourself in, to influence other people? So integrity is something very, very important, like Timo said earlier on, that everybody actually needs. What does it mean to be a person of influence within a university, at Uganda Christian University or wherever you find yourself placed in? You can approach your studies or research or the assignments you have in the university with integrity. In your professional life, how does integrity begin to manifest itself? Growing up, again, I looked at integrity as coming out with very good quality work, working with excellence, remaining true to the point. And remember, sometimes you can be hated for being honest. Some people will say, but who does she call herself? If you're put in a committee and people are a bit crafty, they will say, no, this person, we are not going to work with this person. They will push you off their committees because they want to make their deals. So you have to approach your research and professionalism with ethical values in it, having courage to make the right decisions, even in the little assignments you are given to do. Sometimes we find ourselves taking on assignments, like for instance, if you're clerking in a law firm and you're given a very, very complicated assignment, an assignment that requires that you compromise your values, how do you take a stand as a Christian? Supposing I've hired you as an investigation officer and you're conducting this investigation and you realize that your supervisor is compromised, is taking a bribe, how do you position yourself to deal with that situation? Do you compromise and say, hey, I tell boss, I tell the supervisor's compromised, so we all go and compromise in it? Integrity requires that you stand alone, even if you're hated for it. And remember, integrity is about excellence also. In whatever it is you do, you need to do it with excellence. You need to do it very well. So when we talk about academic integrity, it's about acting in a way that is honest, that is fair, that is respectful, that is reasonable, that everybody looks at your honest efforts. Even if you experience failures, integrity doesn't mean that you will not go through challenges. Because some of us went through the university and we had some retakes. And I believe there are some people keeping quiet here. They have retakes also, irrespective of your leadership positions. I'm not encouraging you to have retakes. But when it does happen, are you able to come out and learn your lessons and come out victorious? I know of some people who are under pressure in the university, and maybe they're going through harassment, and they are struggling, they can't deal with it. And this person decides to give you a retake because you did not give in. And you do the retake and do the retake again until the person gets embarrassed and say, let this person pass and go out of my way. But it's about standing for truthfulness, irrespective of the circumstances we go through. And we need to approach every situation with that kind of attitude. Integrity is not based on credentials. In the ancient times, people used symbols to mark their creation. In the ancient times, like today somebody was talking about the Greek philosophy and looking at the Egyptian symbols and whatnot. Integrity is not based on credentials. The symbol that each one of us has is his character. That is your symbol. Even after you have left earth, people will keep remembering and saying, but this person had this outstanding character. This person was able to influence the students positively during his leadership. This person, and that is what will go along with you. You will be headhunted because of the qualities you demonstrated during your leadership journey as a student. And these days we do background checks for every position. We do, vetting, security vetting as well. How was this student during their times in the university? Is he the one who was leading strikes? Was he the one who was very, very jumpy? Was he the one who was... Did he serve during his tenure, did he serve with integrity? And those reports come, they come out, they'll say this student is the son of so-and-so, they're from this village in Ntungamo, the parents used to do this, they have raised this child like this. The child went to the university and he was in the guild executive, he was able to perform like this, and all that history is brought in and displayed. I'm like, hey, okay, so the person has got these values. The person was raised with integrity. But is he able to demonstrate that character? Did he demonstrate this character during his leadership? What do other students say about him? And some people come and befriend your friends and go to the canteen and have juice and be commandos and get a lot of information about you. And that is the information they use to take this decision on whether or not to give you the job. But even if that information is not dug out, for you, when you examine yourself, when you reflect on your life as a student leader, what do you see? The symbol that each one has today is his character. The value of the work and skill determined basically is what they look out when they are looking at your character. So we look at the quality of the person and his work, and that basically gives value to the credentials you're putting out there. These days we don't believe much in Wolokoso, where you're interviewing someone and he talks about himself. I'll be the best. I have done this. I have done this. We look beyond that. Well, you came, we had a verbal, oral interview, but what is it about your character beyond the credentials you have shared with us? Because character comes from who we are. What character are you portraying out there? I've shared with you stories of how I've never applied for any of the jobs I've held in this government. It is my outputs and character that speaks for itself. where they just look for this person and say, no, this person is the only person who can handle this assignment. Because that character is tested over time. Can your character be tested? Can people see output in what it is you're doing? No number of titles, of degrees, of designations, of awards, or other credentials can substitute the honesty we are talking about, the integrity, especially when it comes to issues of influence. So as student leaders, let us position ourselves to be people of influence, and influencing people not just with anything, but influencing them with the integrity. Can you come down and identify with the people you're leading? Can you offer exemplary leadership by showing respect, with honesty? There are times you're entrusted with some responsibility. Are you accountable? Can you give accountability for even the resources you have below you? For even the people you are leading, that for me in the fellowship, we are 70 people, and 45 of them are going for mission in such and such a place. This and this is going to happen. In 3 days, we'll be back, and there will be a report. So that when you're transitioning, you have a file. You say, during our tenure, we visited this place, we impacted here, we touched these lives, and so on. We should be accountable as leaders. When others criticize you unfairly, it helps you to keep going and take the right road. As leaders, we often get criticized. Even me, you may have read in the papers, where sometimes I take some critical decisions and I know they are the right decisions, but thereafter I get criticized. But the most interesting thing, which makes my work a bit more exciting than your leadership in the university, is when some people are criticizing, others are saying thumbs up. So sometimes I'm in between saying, do I go with the thumbs up or the criticisms? But as a leader, it's important to take every challenge as an opportunity to perform better. Every challenge as an opportunity to improve. If it's a thumbs up, how can I say, how can I move and cause a arms up or heads up? How can you even improve and make it better? When I lay down the reins of this administration, I want to have one friend left, and that friend is the one who is inside. These are words of someone called Abraham Lincoln. It says, when I lay down the reins of this administration, of my leadership, I want to have one friend left, and that friend is inside myself. When you speak to yourself and say, me, Joel, after this time I've had at the university, what is it that I expect to get out there? How can I improve myself? How can I offer leadership of substance after my leadership term in the university? Am I still able to lead when I go out of the university? Because remember, leadership is a calling. May God grant that men of principle shall always be principled men among us. When you maintain these principles and these values of integrity and ethical leadership, because integrity is your friend's best friend, because it is difficult to sort out another person's motive, it is you to sort out your own motives. So when we look at integrity in terms of benefits, the benefits of integrity we get are things like trust. People are able to trust you. People are able to believe in you. People are able to walk with you. People are able to follow you. When they see you out there, everybody will want to follow you. So integrity allows other people to trust you. It is that glue that holds people together. Because now when you build trust, then you're able to move together as a team. If you are a leader, know that people will trust and believe in you. And next time there is another opportunity to lead, everybody will say, no, let's give him another chance. It is the key to becoming a person of influence. It may be a small thing now in the university, like we were sharing inside there, where you're in this cabinet, this executive committee, this fellowship, and you're in this position of leadership. But it is a key to becoming a person of influence. Like me, I didn't know that at one point in this country, I would be the Deputy Inspector General of the government of Uganda. Sometimes I think it's a dream Even 3 years down the office, I'm like, hey, but is this for real? Sometimes I think it's a joke being taken too far. But again, I hear people out saying that I'm doing very well. But I've asked God, can you make me serve with excellence? How can I be that best Deputy Inspector General the government of Uganda has had? And that takes me to the grassroots. How can I influence people and take the presence of the inspectorate to the grassroots? How can I go to the community and be with them? How can I influence students? Because remember, I shared with a certain group that I didn't even have friends. And the immediate friends I had were the students, some of whom I was lecturing before these big jobs fell on me. Now that was a starting point. And I've glued on them. I've said, this one here, Paka last. Because I know I didn't have the time and opportunity to interact and make so many other friends out there. But today, when you look at us, in terms of friends, I've got a very big following. Not because I'm very powerful or anything, but because I find myself touching the lives of people. So as leaders, I want us to position ourselves and think about how we can touch the lives of people. Some people will say, but now resources, sometimes it doesn't even require resources. Like now, if I call you here and I give you granules and water, and we interact, does that require lots of resources? It doesn't. It's about just sacrificing that time to be able to engage, to be able to reflect on these issues, to be able to go and have meaningful impact in the different spaces we are in. So I want to positively encourage you to influence others and to develop the following of the important, significant qualities of integrity, like modeling consistency in character. Recently, I was speaking on Family TV about having consistency in character. As leaders, can we be consistent? Can we be purposeful and intentional about being the people we want to be? Can we employ honest communication? Can we value transparency and exemplify humility? Yesterday I was at a marriage conference in a Hotel Africana, and this person was saying, but now, even the people who are married today, they are married, but their finances are not married. Each person holds their separate accounts. And their phones are not married. Each person controls their. And my neighbor said, oh, me, my phone. I keep sending mobile money here, here, here. If my husband never sees the track off. And I also said, but even me, sometimes it's about walking in the light. Because there are some people whom I'm sponsoring and supporting and many times, and he has even no idea. So I just have to take responsibility and walk in the light and say, but you know, I have this, I have this, I have this that is happening, and we agree. So integrity is about having that exemplified character. And many people today, someone said, now then that means you're just two people and not connected as husband and wife. But if you are supposed to walk with transparency and honesty and demonstrate that quality out there and be able to counsel and mentor other young people who want to follow your footsteps, then there is no option you have than making your life vulnerable and working with transparency, because you have got to demonstrate that. You have got to demonstrate your support to others as well. You have got to do simple things like even fulfilling your promises. Never promise anything you cannot deliver. That's why me, even when you're organizing your mission, I will not pledge or indicate my pledge, but I will send the contribution at an appropriate time. I'll say, well, I'll support the mission, but I will not tell you how I'll support the mission. Whether I'll send you 500,000 or 100,000 or through prayer, but I will pledge to support the mission. So do not promise anything you cannot deliver. There are some people who make abnormal pledges, but when it comes to fulfillment, it is something else. Embrace an attitude of service. We have been put on this earth not to be served, but to serve. And this is a true calling of leaders. We are encouraged to always serve other people. And it's a two-way participation. If we are to influence people or be people of influence, then we've got to live that life of integrity by serving them. When you live a life of integrity, people listen to you and follow you. And it is a benefit of trust and influence. When we become a person of integrity, we make those kind of commitments. You commit to be truthful to your word. You commit to be consistent. I was talking about consistency, the continuous practice of a certain lifestyle. Like I gave the example of on TV, on family TV again. I said, well, if you're going to say you're going to be consistent, like the athlete, he practices over time and he becomes resilient. Even if he goes to countries where the environment and weather conditions are not so favorable, but because he has practiced over time, he's able to go and participate in a race and be able to win. So if we pick that consistency, then it will become your lifestyle and it will distinguish you from many others. It will distinguish you from many others. Like I'll give you an example. Over 10 years ago, I made a resolution that for me to be healthy and fit, by then I was, I think, around 35, I will have to be consistent with exercise. And I said, well, yes, because I cannot diet. My marginal propensity to consume food is a bit high and full of energy. So I have got to burn the calories. I said, well, I'll begin 5 o'clock while the world is snoring and dozing. I can rise up early and do my workout. So I consistently have to do that workout. And I was sharing with someone, said, for me, the clothes I used to have at the university still fit me. Said, hey, for real? Said, yes, because for me, I have maintained my weight. Consistently, I do the exercise at 5 a.m. Consistently, I make sure I'm in office by 7. Other civil servants come at 9 and others at 10. But for me, 7 o'clock. And it gives me time to read and analyze important documents and take critical decisions. Between 7 and 10 in the morning, I've done most of the important things, and then later I can attend those mid-morning meetings and get to meet people and get into several other things. Consistency. So as a student leader, you can purpose also. I'm not saying copy me. Hello? I am saying you can choose to be consistent. You may say, for me, every evening, I must walk for at least 3 kilometers. Because remember how God has created our bodies. We're supposed to be working. Now, if you have a body like mine that is driven in a car with AC and does not have the liberty even to walk to the market or walk through villages, then you realize that this consistency will be very, very helpful in the long run. In the long run. We need to make decisions ahead of time that don't have a price. There are some critical decisions you've got to make now while at the university. And remember, you live by your decisions. Critical decisions. Decisions on what kind of spouse you want to have, who you want to begin dating if you're not already dating that person. How you have to be futuristic. Don't wait for someone to say, hey, I have a sister. Eh? I'll give you my sister. Hey, how? You have to get to pray for this person. Because remember, you marry someone who is a friend. Not someone who has just been connected for you, like for you don't have what? The ability to issue a statement of purpose. So, even the choices you make now, and you people, if you make a bad choice, you live by that choice. There are some women who are so quarrelsome, brothers. You need to look through them. You need to see and study the character consistently over time. So that even life after university, when now you start working, you now take the decision and say, but I think this friend I've seen for some time, I've studied her character over time, she's God-fearing, she will be a woman of noble character, I think I can now settle with this person. Because you'll have studied her lifestyle. Consistent. Is she prayerful? Is she having conflicts all the time with her friends? Now, those ones who have conflicts begin to sieve and say, this one here, ajira bera wano.